Why not make 2026 the year in which you take effectiveness seriously? We know from other fields that this has enormous benefits. Aircraft safety has massively improved because of looking at the reasons for accidents and near misses, learning the lessons and putting them into practice. Buildings are much safer because of building regulations, embedding the science into the regulations. Medical safety has increased because of the testing of different treatments, pulling together that information and then putting that into guidelines that are then used by doctors and surgeons. And evidence-based practice works. So there's a study that compared 1,000 papers that compared standard nursing practice versus evidence-based nursing practice. And it showed that in 90% of the occasions, there were statistically significant benefits. So fewer people died, people had less pain, they spent less time in hospital. The remaining 10%, in almost all cases, it was just that it wasn't statistically significant. So it really makes a difference. So what about conservation? Tiago de Zoten from the organisation Mossy Earth, who's both a practitioner and a funder, a very interesting new organisation, made this classification. He says you can break organisations into whether or not they have a strong evidence base, so they've looked at the evidence and the evidence existed, or there's a weak evidence base, so very often they just haven't looked at the evidence, or sometimes there isn't evidence. And then organisations differ as to whether or not they have a weak experimental design, by which he's thinking of things like monitoring and evaluation, which tells you whether or not your overall project is sort of going okay, or whether or not it's catastrophically wrong, and it's the sort of thing that funders want. But it doesn't tell you whether actions actually work. Or strong evidence experimental basis, where you actually have a comparison with a control or comparison with a different treatment, and you just vary that one factor, the standard fair test that kids are taught at school. And that if you have a robust evidence base, but a weak test, well, that's fine. That's just carrying something out that we know works. That's absolutely good. He calls that doing. If you have a weak evidence base, but you do a robust test, that's great. You're seeing whether or not it works. We don't know whether or not it works. We're going to find out. That's testing. If you've got a good evidence base already, you might still do a test. You want to have another test just to make sure it works, or whether or not it works under this particular conditions. That's what he calls refining. But if you have a weak evidence base and a weak experimental test, then that's what he calls guessing. And the point he makes is that most conservation practice is best classified as being guessing. So many organisations now are taking this seriously. They realise that this is a serious problem. So this shows the organisations that are evidence champions that have taken a whole series of steps to improve practice. Just as examples, so the Royal Society for Protection of Birds, the RSPB, takes the testing of actions really seriously. They've done over 100 different tests. Some organisations have evidence strategies like the Woodland Trust or Natural England. Some of them embed thinking about evidence right the way through the organisation. The Vincent Wildlife Trust is fabulous in being an evidence-based organisation that really ensures what they do, they know whether or not it works. So these practitioners are really making a difference. But funders are also changing. And this shows those funders that now, as part of their application process and at different stages, ask, Why do you think this action is likely to be effective? And that question is likely to radically change conservation practice. And again, these are funders that do that. And if you're a philanthropist wanting to spend your money through a funder, then these are the ones that are more likely to give you effective actions. And also it's likely that this will drive change. That if funders are asking whether or not practices are effective, they'll get better proposals. It's easier for them to judge whether or not the proposals are a good idea. So we'll have improved projects. We'll have more of a culture of evidence-based. With that, we're likely to have better practice overall. That's likely to be more attractive to other philanthropists to come and join this. We know in some areas philanthropists don't join because there's not a good evidence base as to whether or not practice is effective. So with better practice and better funding, we're likely to have a much better world. So I have a 2-point plan for increasing effectiveness. Firstly, don't guess unless it's something trivial or something obvious. And secondly, learn effectively. Put in robust testing to see whether or not the actions you're doing actually make a difference. And for funders, I've got a 1-point plan. Ask applicants to reflect on why they think that project is going to work. And we use the word reflection carefully. It's not following the evidence, it's looking at the evidence and discussing it and then considering how it applies to your particular condition. But if funders asked about the evidence base, the world would change. So I hope you take this seriously. I hope you decide 2026 is the year you're going to join this evidence revolution and help the world be more effective and help the world be a better place. Good luck.